Welcome to today's episode of Sassy Detectives. We're your hosts,
Tori.
and Ray, and we are here to talk about anything and everything Nancy Drew. And today we'll be talking about the captive curse. Roll the intro.
Okay, so today we're talking about the Captive Curse, which is the 24th game.
Ooh, yes. So, Tori, what are your general thoughts on the captive curse?
Okay, general thoughts.
Yes, just to
I
start out.
so I'm wondering how many opinions we're actually going to share about this game because I feel like we may not have that many. um
I I have a lot of opinions on this game.
yeah, but I don't know if we're
Sure.
going to share many of
Oh,
them.
sharing. Okay, I thought you meant like actually like talking about opinions, and I was like, what do
No,
you
no, no, no,
mean? I
no.
have a lot of them.
And when I say this, I think I sometimes get heat sometimes in the Nancy Drew community. So
Ooh.
please do not flame me alive. But Cap is near the bottom of my ranking for Nancy Drew games. And I mean, I can talk about it in detail as we get to each point, but this is a game. I don't want to say that I dislike this game because I wouldn't say that I dislike this game. But I think comparatively, it's harder for me to get into this game like as compared to like other games in the series. I have to be like in a really specific mood, I think, to play the Captive
Mm.
Curse. And I think the things that are really, really good, that I mean, there are elements of this game that I think are really, really good, but then there are some elements that make me want to claw my face off. So we'll talk about those, I guess, as we get to them. But overall, I
Ooh.
would say this game's kind of mid for me, maybe low side of mid. Um, it's definitely not like in my bottom 10,
Like,
but it
is it
almost
better
is.
than is it better than mid though?
Yes, yes, it is definitely better than Midnight in Salem. I have like a whole list of game. I have the whole like
Oh.
all of the games ranked in a note on my phone. And right now, currently, the Captive Curse sits at 20th out of 33.
Ooh.
So,
Ooh.
like mid, but like low side of mid.
Yeah. At least like at least it's not midnight. So when we get to midnight in Salem,
That's gonna be a
oh
fun
boy.
episode.
Yeah. Uh, so my thoughts are much more in the game's favor than yours, which I understand. Okay, no, I don't understand, but I accept it. Like, that is your
Okay.
opinion. You are completely free to have that, and I'm not going to judge you on it. Just for me, it is a game that I really love it. Um, it was one of the games that I played with, my childhood bestie who introduced me to Nancy Drew. And did we ever finish this? No, we would just, yeah, we didn't ever finish this game. We kept dying in the furnace. And so we would just quit.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's a very near and dear to my heart game. And yeah, I get that it might be not it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but it certainly is mine. So
That's fair. Do you want
so
to
ooh.
go through the mystery and we'll talk about it as we go?
Oh yes. Okay. So we start out with the greatest ever, most camp intro to any ever Nancy Drew game, which is it's like it's all sepia and it's got like, it's all
Like the
dark and you have
film
the creepy
grain and the
music.
lines and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you get this girl, she's picking mushrooms in the wood, and then she gasps, and there's like a monster's footsteps following her, and she screams and she runs away, and every sound effect except for the stomping in this is Lonnie Manella. Um,
Yeah.
So it's Lonnie Manella screaming and running away for help, and it's also Lonnie Manella doing the growls and the monster sounds and everything. Like I
I
didn't look in the credits to see if that was what it was, but it's definitely Lonnie.
I mean, I think it's like one of those things in the series where it's like, oh, it's it's just another like way for Lonnie to kind of like sneak her own voice into
Yeah.
things, I think. I don't
Oh,
know.
she's everywhere. We'll have to do an episode sometime on like Nancy Drew and other video games too, because Lonnie Manila is everywhere in video games.
Lonnie Manila, if you're listening to our podcast, send us a message on Instagram or something, and we'd love to
Yes,
interview you.
we love you, and I am a big fan of your work.
Yes, indeed.
But yes, anyway, we have that lovely little that beginning with the old-fashioned horror movie, monster movie thing, and it's quite fun. It's quite fun. Um, but then we get to Nancy, and now we're in the modern day. We actually have color everywhere, and we're like, oh, actually, it's not that much color because it's at night, and so everything's super dark. But yeah, we have that, and then Nancy goes to the thing. She presses the doorbell. Well, the gates. She presses the doorbell, and then she looks up, and there's somebody shouting from the top. Who are you? And she's like, I'm Nancy Drew. And he's like, I will only let you in if you solve the match puzzle. And she's
And
like,
the one thing about
okay.
this whole part right here is that I think it's freaking adorable that Lucas has apparently drawn this Frankenstein monster puzzle thing.
Yes.
And it's like he just sat there one day. He was sitting in his little spot under the table in the living room, I guess, and just like drawing this little puzzle.
Yeah, Lucas, I love Lucas so much in this game. Like I will say it many times how much I love Lucas. But so you do that, and then so she solves the puzzle, and then he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna give you another test," and then you hear something like Lucas, and then Carl, the Burgermeister, peeks out of the window, and he's like, "Hey, Nancy, come to my office." And so then you go into the castle because he opens the gates for you. And as you're going up the stairs, you get a mysterious call. And by mysterious call, I mean a call from Nancy's boyfriend, Ned, who's like, "Hey, Nancy, I'm here. I'm waiting. We're gonna, I'm all ready for our dates and everything." And she's like, sorry, our dates are, our plans are gonna have to, they're gonna have to wait. And during this conversation, the cell reception is absolutely terrible, and so it makes me want to claw my ears out.
This conversation makes me
And
so mad.
So Ned is like, "Nancy, you can't just be leaving me all the time, okay? Listen, I'm here, I'm doing things for you, and you just keep going off and doing whatever." And she's like, "I'm sorry, Ned, but this is important." And I will say here, I am Team Ned for this.
Yes.
I am so Team Ned because he is putting in so much effort for Nancy, and she doesn't even tell him. Like, she's like, "Sorry, we're gonna have to push back our plans," and he's like, "Where are you? Seriously, again?" And I'm just
And,
like, Nancy.
I've had okay, I feel like this is one of those things that like the Clue Crew is very divided about. But okay, my point here. Like okay, poor Ned. The man can't win for losing.
He can't.
Just let
I just
and
want
everybody's
Ned to be happy.
Yeah, and then everybody's like, "Well, Ned's just like like a he's so lame and like not cool compared to Nancy." And I'm like, "That's not his fault. That's her
love
interactive's
him.
fault. That's not Ned's fault."
I love him. I love Ned being boring. I love him.
There's
okay?
nothing wrong with safe men to date, okay?
There's nothing wrong with safe just, he is boring, but he is kind. He's going to college. I assume he's probably going to get a good job. It's Ned. He's obviously going to get a good
He's
job.
obviously
It's,
fairly
obviously,
intelligent.
yes, he's obviously smart, kind, attractive, and
He does
it's
not
just
ask Nancy to change anything about herself. Like, he
he
fully
all he
supports.
wants.
All he wants is
All he
just to go
wants.
on a date with his girlfriend every once in a while, and I feel like that is not too much to ask.
Mm-mm. It is not. It is definitely not too much to ask, and yet, Nancy's just like, sorry, Ned, I've got a case. How many times has she done this? Because it's at least twice that she's done this.
Um, I think it's probably more than that.
It's
This is just
definitely more than that,
This is
but
just one of the
canonically in the
instances
games.
that it's like
Yeah.
directly tied to like a romantic plan that Ned had with her.
Nancy, jeez. But
Anyway, that's
so
okay.
that happens.
That's one of the
and
elements that I don't like about Cap is that this weird like tension that they throw in between Nancy and Ned on the phone about this, and then of course they have to get Ned involved for the drama, and I
You
just
mean
don't
Frank
like
involved
it.
for the drama?
Huh?
You mean Frank involved for the
Who
drama?
did I say?
Ned?
I meant Frank, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, they get Frank involved for whatever reason, and then it's like Frank plays this weird middleman character where he's like, "Oh, Ned's really sad, but also oh well." And it's like, "Oh my gosh, can we please stop like with the weird love triangle thing?" Like
Oh, see, I'm actually a sucker for Frank in this part. I'm just also very like, Nancy, what the heck?
no, I
'Cause
have
she
no
is
problem with
just
Frank. I have no problem with Frank. What the problem I have is this weird, like, forced tension that has nothing to do with the mystery and doesn't really,
yeah.
like, it's not really, like, adding to the characters of Ned or Frank. It really, the whole thing just makes Nancy look like a jerk. Which, I mean, she
Yeah.
is in this case, but
She Nancy is a terrible person, and sometimes I like her for that. So,
but
yes.
anyway, that's one of the detractors
So
for me.
yes. Yes. But anyway, we get that phone call as we go up the stairs, and then after we go up the stairs, we can take a turn and we go down a hallway and we go into Carl's room. And when we go in to talk to him, he has these little action figure dolls that he's playing with. And Nancy's walking in, she's like, "What's going on?" And he just hides the dolls. He just pushes them under the table and goes back to what he's doing. And then he's talking to Nancy, and Nancy's like, "Hey, what's going on? I was told you have a problem with the monster." And he's like, "Oh, monster? Absolutely not! What are you talking about? Everything's fine." Oh my gosh, Nancy, we have such a big problem, monster problem, literally and figuratively. It is so bad.
Yeah. And then one thing I love, I will say though, is Carl's office is amazing.
I am in love with his office. Like the wood finishing, the furniture, the game stuff, the books, the arrangement of the furniture. It's just so nice, and the
It's very
coloring.
cozy in there.
I would kill to have an office like that.
Me
Like,
too.
not gonna lie, it is such a pretty office, and it's so great. But anyway, so we've got that, and that's fun. And we do, in as he's telling Nancy about the monster problem, we get some of my favorite we get some of my favorite dialogue, because you can ask him about like castle stuff and the castle newspaper, and he's like, "Yes, the castle newspaper can't hear about all this stuff." And she's like, "Wait, the castle has a newspaper?" And he's like, "Of course. Does it yours?" And she's like, "I don't really live in a castle." And he's like, "Then how do you protect yourself from peasant uprisings?" And she's like, "Not really a problem."
Yeah.
And then you can ask him also, or you can tell him, "I like your lederhosen." And he's like, "Yes, yes, get it out of your system now." And she's like, "Wait, what do you mean?" And he's just like, "I have it screenshotted." No one likes lederhosen. look at these. All of these straps and hooks and what have you. It's like I can't be trusted to keep my shirt on. Do you know how long it takes me to put these on in the morning? 9 minutes. And it's not like they look good. I look like a sad old Pinocchio.
Thank you, Carl.
I love Carl so much. I love almost all of the characters in this game. There's one character who is mid to me, but the rest of them I love very much. Can you guess which character is mid to me?
Anya.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're talking with Carl and he tells us, yeah, please find the monster and everything, and then you can go around and meet the other people in the castle. And we've already met Lucas, and so we can talk to him again, and he's super fun and nice, and he's adorable, and I love him, and he can do no wrong. Like, yes, he is a serial pranker, but he's adorable and perfect, and he can do no wrong, okay?
Have you noticed that he's the only child character in the series that's not awful?
Listen, I will defend Freddy, okay?
Oh,
I will
why?
defend Freddy because Freddy is she's okay, one, she doesn't have, I'm not going to spoil Curse of Blackmore Manor right now, but that child has some issues, but Freddy is just like a 10-year-old girl out in the snow throwing things at people. Like if I were her age and I was living in a lodge in the mountains, I too would be doing that because
This
you
is
know,
not a
why
White
not?
Bicycle Creek episode, but I will say that beating Freddy in the face with snowballs is the best part of that game for me.
I will admit, yes, it is, but I still love Freddy. But
okay,
Lucas,
so anyway, back to Lucas. Lucas is great. Lucas is fun. Lucas has great
love him
dialogue.
so much. Everything Lucas says is adorable, and I love him. But he will tell you about like how his dad is the security person, and he's always playing games. And there's another time where you can ask him like, "Isn't it past your bedtime?" And he's like, "Shh, don't ruin it for me. I've got a good thing going here."
Yeah.
I love him so much. But, you know, you also get to discover that he is a serial pranker, and he is pranking everybody at every time. And, like, gee, what 10-year-old boy isn't?
Yeah. Especially a 10-year-old boy that has, like, a huge, like, castle that he can hide in. And
yeah, and
like,
a ton of
annoy.
free time.
Mm-hmm.
And a ton of free time, because this guy has so much free time, and when children have a lot of free time, things get weird.
They get up to shenanigans.
Oh yes, shenanigans, tomfoolery, and mischief. But anyway, yes, and we meet Lucas, he's the best. And we can then go meet Anya, and she is the Castellan, and she's like, hello, I deal with tour stuff at the guest shop, and with just a bunch of other stuff, and Nancy's like, oh, cool. And then, like, you can ask her a lot of questions, and then she notices that, hey, Nancy's looking down, what's wrong, girly? And Nancy's like, oh, nothing, and she's like, it's boyfriend issues, isn't it?
I hate
She's
this.
like, yeah, and I'm just like, I don't like the boyfriend talks.
I hate this.
I don't.
I hate it so much. This
So
is another detractor for me. Also,
I don't.
okay, Anya, overall, never shuts up. I feel like she talks, and two-thirds of her
does.
conversation topics are pointless. Pointless.
They are. They are.
She talks so incessantly, and I feel like any good potential character moments that you have in dialogue with Anya get completely lost in the sea and waves of conversation that you can have with her. And like, I'm the kind of person that like, I go through every conversation topic because I never remember like what conversation topics like trigger events and puzzles and things.
Yeah.
So I just like go through everything, and literally talking to Anya is like a 15+ minute project.
Yeah, I
It's
started
so
like
much.
scrolling Pinterest on my phone as she was talking, like many paragraphs, and I'm like, okay, we're ignoring this.
Yeah. So,
But yeah,
talking to
it's
Anya is a chore.
yeah, yeah. She is. But after we meet her, we can look around the shop, and I was looking in one of the books that you can look at in the shop, and if you look inside, it's about like the Brothers Grimm and they're in like fairy tales and stuff. But if you look inside, there is a piece of art that is just a mirrored and sketched and slightly changed tracing of Altair from the cover of the original Assassin's Creed. And
Yeah, you
I
sent me
listen,
this.
I haven't played this game since before I started playing Assassin's Creed. And so I didn't really notice that. But then like now I'm a huge Assassin's Creed nerd. And then I was like, hold on, that's Altair. I'm like, that's my boy. That's my guy.
That's hilarious.
And
I wonder if that
it
was on
it is
purpose.
funny. It was probably on like yeah. Moving on. In the guest shop there's also this monster like
Das
animatronic
Monster.
thing. Das Monster. And it has different language settings for the monster growling,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is really funny. Because the monster never says anything, but
Yeah.
apparently the growls are different attitudes, but like I guess that's different languages? I don't know, but like must mean something different in English than it does in German, I guess. So there's also a lot of there's a lot of fun stuff in there, like the t-shirt that says, I came here to see the monster, but all I got was this stupid t-shirt. Which would honestly be a fun shirt to have, honestly.
Yeah,
Um,
it would.
After that, we can go and meet another person who is another one of my favorite characters in this game. I have a lot of favorite characters in this game, which is everyone but Anya.
Yeah.
But you get to meet this old lady who is in one, like I think it's like the Grand Hall or something. She's sitting there and she's a storyteller, and her name is Renata, and literally everything she says is iconic.
She has a
Like
good personality, I feel like. I she has a different personality than a lot of the elderly characters that we've seen in this series. She's a lot more like
Mhm.
witty and like funny and I don't know. I think it's like she still kind of has like the like wizened sort of almost like oracle talk that like some other
Oh,
like elderly
definitely.
characters have, but she delivers it in a way that's a lot more interesting. Um, but Renata is another character that I feel like, while I actually enjoy Renata as a character, I think she's my favorite character in the game. I think a lot of her best moments do get lost sometimes in the sea of conversation because there's so much dialogue from Renata, and it sort of makes more sense. I accept it better with Renata because she's presented as a storyteller, like her
Yeah.
profession is like a storyteller, so I accept it better coming from her that she's going to talk a lot. But yeah, I don't know, there's a lot of really really great lines that she delivers,
Yeah.
and I think they can
I
sometimes get
have
lost.
Yeah, I have some screenshots of her quotes, but one of the ones that I'm looking at right now is when Nancy's like, "So, why are you here at this time or something?" And she's like, "I do not know yet. If our time together is a comedy, then I was brought here by coincidence. If our time is a tragedy, then it must be fate." Like she has so many good lines like that.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike Anya, like cuz Anya's dialogue is like 80% super boring to me, but like even Renata's super long tangents that she goes on, like even those are super interesting to me because it has something to do with the story. And it has some, and if it doesn't have anything to do with the story, it has something to do with her character and
Makes
why
sense to
she
me.
is the way she is. It's very interesting to me. But oh, I just found another fun screenshot. It's
Oh,
oh yeah. It's the screenshots of the titles of the books in the
oh,
gift shop. Like we have Bohemian Raps, which is a cookbook, and Raps is spelt WRAPS, as in like tortilla wraps or like
uh-huh.
something like that. Let's see if I can zoom in. And then we have Castle Plumbing and German existentialism.
Oh,
We also have
why does Castle Plumbing make me think of Mario?
you thought about it too? Bowser Castle, Mario and
Yeah,
Luigi are plumbers.
yeah.
Yeah, but then we have one of my favorite ones, which is Jasmine Beethoven.
Okay.
A play on Rock Me Amadeus. So,
Okay.
but yes, I love when they come up with funny book titles in this game. But yeah, there's a lot of fun with those. But anyway, you talk to Renata and Renata's like, "You're here for the monster, aren't you?" And Nancy's can either reply, "No, I'm not," or "Yes, I am," or "Monster? What monster?" And yeah, so Renata is like, she during the entire story, you can tell that she knows more than she's letting on to. And it's
Mm-hmm.
very interesting. So after that, we can go up and we can call Frank. And while I don't like the relationship drama, I really like the conversations with Frank because they're funny. And even though Joe's not there, we still do get Joe. And so Frank is on the phone with Nancy, and he's like, "Hold on, Joe told me to say something. I had to write it down because it was so weird." But he gets out a piece of paper and he's like, "Okay, here we go. Dear Nancy Drew, he used your last name for some reason. I'm glad you and Ned are back together. You go together like peanut butter and jelly. When you're apart, it's like peanut butter and sadness, or jelly and uncomfortable silences. Either way, you're looking at a sandwich that no one wants, and probably no one will buy it ever."
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate
I
you,
I
buddy.
love Joe. And then he goes on and on about stuff, and it's funny. I like Joe is one of the best characters in the entire
Mm-hmm.
series,
I love
just
the
in
Hardy
general.
Boys.
Oh yeah, they're great. But you can also talk to Marcus, who's the person who hired you. And he is such a terrible person, but he is so iconic.
I think the like funny thing about Marcus is that he almost seems like I don't know, like a parody characterization of like rich CEO who like just like
Yes.
had a silver spoon in his mouth from birth and just like does not have like a any sort of real sense of reality in life.
He's
But
so
he's still
funny.
really funny for some reason.
He's so funny. Like, it's so over the top, everything he says. Like, I have some of his quotes on the screen like that, where he's talking to Nancy and Nancy's just talking to him stuff, and he's like, so now I do what I want. It's pretty nice. Who taught you how to drive? Was it the stupidest dog ever? Because that's what it looks like.
Thanks, Marcus.
And then he has a lot of other funny things because apparently he's driving the entire time,
Uh-huh.
and he's uh, just a very like you take the stereotypical rich guy who's never had a problem with his life, who's doing all this stuff, and then you take that, you multiply it times 100. That's Marcus. um he's awful, but he's also so funny. But there's also this another thing that he mentions that really explains more about his character, which is where he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll take it to my house or my other one. I have three houses. One in wait, was it four houses? But he has one house somewhere. I think it's one house in Germany, one house in the U.S., and another house somewhere else. He told his realtors to surprise him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I should really track down that house." And I'm just like, wow, that explains a lot about you.
Exactly.
But yeah, and so we can go around, and then as we're in our bedroom, we hear a frantic knocking at the door, and then we open it, and Carl's there, and he's like, "Nancy, the monster attacked in the courtyard." So you run down with Carl, and you put out a fire, and he's like, you see what's happening? The monster is like really bad." And well, there are other people living in the castle. You cannot talk to them about everything because they are like inside their homes, and they have the doors locked, and you can knock, and sometimes they will answer, and sometimes they'll just stay quiet. But if they do answer, it's usually like, "Leave me alone, go away. uh we're trying to stay in here, go away,
I do
Nancy."
wish
Or they
that
don't ever
there
call her
you could
Nancy,
end up
but
talking to those people at some point.
I know that would have been so cool, like just like talking through the door to somebody about it.
Yeah.
Like that could have been like super cool. Like you never see them, but you know how frightened they are. Like that, missed opportunity. That could have been so good. But oh, another thing, So I explored the courtyard before I even went into the castle and talked to anybody when I played it this round. But in one of the upper places in the courtyard, you
Mm-hmm.
can grab these like clippers, these bush trimmers,
Oh yeah.
these little shear thingies. And Nancy just grabs them and she's like, "These are pretty dull, but they look like they could come in handy." I'm just like, "Nancy,
And then
you
she
just
shoves them
arrived
in her
here.
pocket.
You just arrived here and now you're grabbing a sharp tool? Like, girl, what?"
I mean, that's pretty. That's
Nancy.
I feel like if you're a veteran to the series, that's not a surprising thing.
No, it absolutely isn't, but it's also like, Nancy, again, really?
Yeah.
What's what's wrong with Nancy Drew? A lot
What
of things.
I was
But
gonna say, I feel like that could be an episode all on its own. Psychologically analyzing Nancy Drew.
oh, that would be so funny. I've got to write that down somewhere. Yeah, we've got to
Put it
do an
in our
episode on
Google
that.
Doc.
Yeah. But yeah, so we have that. So, and then we find this mysterious burr stuck on the door. But Nancy and Carl are like, "Wow, look at all of that serious damage." And then we have like a scratched up door, a small crack in a like a rock through a window, and then a bush is on fire, and nothing else is hurt. I'm just like, this, what serious damage? Like, there's a little bit of damage, but like nothing serious or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have that. And then we can go inside again, and that's all fun and dandy. And what's after that? Um,
Um.
oh, Raid! I need to
Raid.
mention Raid. Okay, I need to talk about Raid. I love this game
I do
so
too.
much.
It's my favorite part of this game.
Her Interactive. If you were listening to this, release a physical copy of Raid.
You would make so
Please.
much bank.
I would buy it. I would buy it for my sister. I would play it every time I got a chance. Please. It is so much fun. And the
They should
cards
release it. They
are
should
so
make it and release
creative.
it for the holiday season this year.
They should. Her Interactive, are you listening? Please.
Merry Christmas. We gave you an idea.
Yes. Please do this for us. Like this, I would buy it.
And we only
I need
request
this
50% of profits. I'm just kidding.
But yes, we have Raid, and we can play it with Carl. And Carl is like obsessed with making board games and stuff, and which like good for him. Good for him. He has his little niche that he likes. He's found his calling, making board games.
We all have
And
hobbies.
oh yeah, he's really good. Okay, he's really good at these board games. Okay, with the Raid, he made that. I have faith in him that he can make some banger board games.
Me too.
And yeah, and so you can play Raid, and he's like, "How did you like it?" And you can like tell him how you like it. But I personally always say that I loved it because it's such a fun game. But then you can look at the instruction manual, and you notice there's a little key symbol on the bird card. I keep forgetting what the card is called, but it's a bird reading a book. It's a smart, nerdy bird.
Professor Sparrow.
Professor Sparrow!
Professor
Yes!
Sparrow is my favorite card.
I love him. I don't like. There's a lot of the names that I don't remember, but I remember Scarlet Braid, the Corn Cannoneer, the Golden Hunter,
Mm-hmm.
Fairy Trigger, because it's giving. She has similar and yet opposite energy of Fairy Godmother from Shrek 2. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but like while Fairy Godmother from Shrek 2 is more like a neutral evil, Fairy Trigger is chaotic neutral. Does
Yes,
that make
true.
sense? Yeah. So that's my thing. I love Fairy Trigger. She just looks like she's she's vibing. She has unknowable magical power, and you never know what she's gonna do. She's a good defense card. I will say that, because if the defensive card wins, then the person playing offense has to go back 7 spaces. So
Oh gosh. Yeah, that's right. The thing about Raid is that like I think Raid is so fun, but it does sometimes take so long.
It does. And since you are playing against Carl, who's playing two other characters, it gets a little annoying sometimes. But the game as a whole is so much fun.
So much fun.
I want it to be real so bad. Ever since the first time I ever played this game, like when I would play it with my childhood friend, like as we would play it together, we would just play Raid for hours. That was one of the reasons we never finished this game.
Yeah,
It was we would die in the furnace and then we would play Raid for hours.
I have a like tendency to like make save files in Nancy Drew games like right before a game or like mini game that I really like. Like I have a save file in Phantom of Venice like right before you play Scopa so that I can literally just load it up and play Scopa. And I've done the same with this game too in Raid. It's like I just want to play some Raid. So like I'll literally just load that save and play Raid.
Honestly, I need to start doing that because I have save files at certain cutscenes, but usually I don't do it for the mini games. But that's like really smart.
Yeah. So that way if you're like, oh, I'm in the mood to play whatever, you can just be like, oh, I'm gonna boot it up. I'm gonna boot it up and play it.
I'm gonna have to do that sometime. But anyway, so you can also get a note from I think it's Marcus about something. But you can't read it because it's in German, so you have to get your dictionary to look at it. Then you have to do the whole puzzle where Nancy accidentally knocks off all the display cards and she has to put them back perfectly. And life hack, take a picture of it before you put everything together. Whether it's on your actual phone or if it's on Nancy's phone, just take a picture of it before you walk up to it, and then boom, you don't have to do any math. So
I never think about
yay.
that. And then I'm like, oh,
life hack.
I have to do this the actual legit way.
Yeah, I just take a lot of pictures of stuff, or I write it down everywhere. I have this little notepad, this little notebook that I have, and it just has so many notes in it. Can I read them? Sometimes, but they can only be discerned through the eyes of the gods, is how I've described it before. So
I have a Nancy Drew notebook that I've had for years, and like each page is a different game, and I like I've condensed my notes so that they're like all in one place.
Yeah, mine are like I'm looking at them right now. They look like I'm insane.
That's
like, you know, when you play certain video games or like there's certain movies or books or something, there's a character who has these notes that make them look like a madman, and they're like, what's wrong with this person? They're insane.
Yeah.
That's what my notes look like. That is exactly what they look like. If I die and the only thing left to prove my existence is this book, people are going to think I am absolutely insane. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's
the Clue
fun.
Crew. The Clue Crew will know. The Clue Crew
we'll
will
get it.
know.
We understand.
No one else. No one else. But so yes, we play Raid, and he pays us 15 euros to play Raid. We get paid to play a good game.
Yeah.
Sometimes
so that you can
a little
buy
bit
more
long,
cake.
Yes, the cake and the sausages and the pretzels and the strudels. The food looks so good.
Yeah.
I want to eat.
Plus, the little food vending machine is very cute, I think.
It's so cute. I love it. Also, if any of you are in Washington State, there's a really cute little tourist trap, and I think it's like Central Washington called Leavenworth, and it has so many vibes of the Captive Curse. It's very nice.
Vibes.
Very Bavarian. There's a lot of places where you can get bratwursts, and I have been there quite a few times, and I can say the food is good. And if you do hate polka music, don't go there.
Good
There's
tip.
a lot of polka music, so yes. But yeah, the food, I love German cake. It is so good. The German chocolate is just so good. But anyway, so you can talk to Lucas again, and you can play the game Monster with him, which I also love the game Monster.
I'm so good at
I also
Monster.
love that game.
I have to say, I'm so good at Monster. I smoke Lucas every time.
Yes. Do you do the thing where you arrange the monsters in like the circles, or that
I
you arrange the cows in the circles?
I try to do it so that it's like my monsters are touching the most potential cows, so that like when I kill a cow, it's like it could be like six of the
Yeah,
cows
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
is my monster. And
Yeah,
so
so yeah, so it's like touching a cow that has the most cows around it.
right.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's what I do. And then when I arrange my cows, I do it in like these three circles, like three rings, kind of.
Mhm.
Because then, like, you never have more than like four cows.
Cuz like
Or,
that's
yeah.
how you win. The moment that you kill a cow and you're the only one touching that cow, it's all over. It's all over.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So you
Yep.
gotta you gotta
But
you gotta
like
hide
part of
amongst the other
me,
cows.
yeah, like part of me feels bad for destroying Lucas every time I play this game. But then, no, I won this.
Well, see, I thought
He
maybe
wanted me to play with him. He wanted me to play this game with him, okay? Like, this is his fault, okay?
I wanted to test the theory that maybe Lucas was smarter when you play it on Senior Detective. So when I played it this most recent time, I streamed it and on my Twitch channel, and I streamed it on Senior, and I was like, I'm gonna see if Lucas is any smarter. He's not.
Oh, I
It's
mean, he
still
is
so
10.
easy to smoke him on Senior.
I love him though. I have loved him since I first played this game. That kid
I
is
mean, he's got to be
adorable
like
and precious.
11, so it's fine.
Yeah, 10 or 11. Yeah, like yeah, cute kid though. But yeah, so we can talk to him, and he gives us this little hint that if you feed Renata food, she just falls asleep. Gee,
Me
guess what we're
too.
gonna do now? So we get her some food, specifically cake, because Renata really likes cake, and so I like to make her happy. So I get her the cake. She's like, "Oh, food, yes!" And then she immediately eats the cake and falls asleep. And then we have the bag puzzle, which is really fun, but also traumatizing because if you move one thing, it makes a really loud banging noise for some
Yeah.
reason.
Why does
And she's sleeping and then she immediately like sits up and just stares at you.
Yeah, why does dropping this pencil sound like an atomic bomb? Somebody please help me
What? I
understand.
know. I know. It's so loud. And it's
How
like,
come this
why? Why are
bag
you
of
so loud?
chips weighs 400 pounds apparently?
How does the bag of chips also stay upright? Like not get crunchy and everything.
I don't know. But I just be stacking
Physics,
things so
video game
precariously.
physics.
Huh?
But yeah, video game physics.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then eventually you get a little mystery compartment box thing, and you have to open it up by playing a game of what is it like Mastermind or something?
I don't remember the name, but it's like,
Yeah, but you have to figure out the order and the placement of the colors, like which colors and stuff.
yeah, it's the same
I
puzzle that we
actually,
see previously in Secret of the Old Clock.
yeah, I actually got it within 3 tries.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was like, "Woo, I've never done this. This is cool." And I
I
was so
love
proud of
puzzles like
myself.
that, by the way. That kind of logic puzzle is like, ooh, it scratches the brain itch.
Listen, logic puzzles are so much fun. Oh, they're so
Yeah,
much
I
fun.
love
But
puzzles
anyway,
like
you can
that.
get that. And she has like this little thing hidden inside, this map of where she has been apparently tracking the monster. Suspicious. And then there's also a book about a fairy tale, which I barely read through. I've read it a few times, but I didn't read it this time through. It's called The Owl or something like that, but it's not super important.
Mm-mm.
But anyway, so then you can go around, and Lucas asks you to distract Carl so he can prank him. You don't distract Carl. You just tell him that
Hey,
Lucas is going to
Lucas
prank
is
him.
trying to prank you. Can you please go along with it?
And the funniest thing is that Lucas still pranks him, even
Yeah.
though he's completely aware of the fact that he's going to prank him.
Yeah.
But which is it's hilarious. I love Carl. Like I love him. I love Lucas. But anyway, so as Lucas is gone, you can snoop in his area and you can see a little letter from his dad, which has one of those switchy lettery puzzles. And you do that, and it says to look for hidden notes around the castle, like musical notes, letters that are associated with musical notes. and then to play those in a certain order on the glockenspiel in the entryway. And so you can do that, and you can go around, find the notes, and then you can play them on the glockenspiel, and lo and behold, you can enter this
Secret
place.
room.
Yes. And that has a little decoding machine, and if you can find the little code gear things, you can put those in there. And if you go outside, at this point, you can grab the key to the security machine from the coffee table in the entryway, and then power up the whole thing with my favorite ever mini game is Zap Up.
Zap
Per
Up is fun.
interactive.
However, real quick side note, I felt so silly this last playthrough because I forgot where the security key was to like power up the security panel, and I spent like 15 minutes trying to find that thing, and it was literally right there in front of it was in the living room or like in the entryway on the table, and I just missed it this time, and I felt so silly.
Yeah, see, that's the reason why I do remember it, because one time I was lost for like a half an hour, and I was so stuck. And I was like, where is the key? I don't know where it is. And I kept looking for it like everywhere, and like I kept like exhausting all of the question and answer things and snooping everywhere. And then I found it on like the message boards to look on the coffee table, and I was like, I feel so foolish.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I will never forget where it is.
I feel like so thorough most of the time when I play Nancy Drew games, and then I'm like, oh, I missed this very obvious and not hidden at all thing.
Like, as I play these games, I have two ways of thinking of myself. One, I'm a genius. I am of superior knowledge to everyone else. I am so smart. Nobody can get past me. And then my other thought is, I am a complete idiot. So it's either those two. And
yeah, but that's that.
Oh yes, I felt that a few times too. But so then you can power it up with the best minigame ever, Zap Up. Per interactive, if you are listening, put Zap Up in more games.
Every game should have a Zap Up.
Every game should have Zap Up. That game is so much fun, and it makes me so happy whenever everything lights up and lights up even more, and then lights up again, and then it lights up something else, and that lights up, and I'm just like, oh yes, so much fun.
Even
like,
if they
I don't
just
know
put,
why.
Even if they just put Zap Up as like one of the mini games on Nancy's phone, like I'd be fine with that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I would get nothing done. I would be so useless during the game. I would just do nothing but Zap Up for hours.
Me playing aggregation in Deadly Device.
Oh my gosh, when we get to Deadly Device, I'm going to go off about how much I love aggregation. But we're Captive Curse right now. Zap Up, please give us more.
Yes.
But anyway, so you do that, and then we can look up the security cameras, and then in the there's also these little buttons where you can connect your phone to the security alerts, and then you can also like press these buttons, which get Carl and Anya away from their desks, and to go secure certain parts of the castle, which is convenient. And you can also look at the security cameras, and who is in the gift shop fiddling with one of the clocks? It is Renata. What is Renata doing there? And so we can then get you can get Anya out of the place, and you can you can look at the clock, and there's a piece of paper below it, and you're like, "Ooh, what is that?" And then you can go upstairs to one of the books. You can open the book and put the paper there where it says the book and page number, and then it says third clock from the left, 1921. Which, haha, does that sound like a time? So you can put it at the military time for 1921. But you can't do that until you get into Anya's desk, which we haven't gotten into. So we can go up to Carl's desk after we get him and Anya away from their places. You can look into things, and there's also a little message you can decode in the decoder thing earlier. And if you decode that, it has the key, the passcode to Carl's journal. And so you can open Carl's
note
journal.
About the security booth is that I love that you can just watch Carl playing with his dolls on the monitor.
I love him. I love Carl so much.
He's just playing away with his little guys.
He's having fun. He is enjoying his time on Earth. You know, the man has a lot of scary things that he's had to go through with, the whole backstory, which we will get to and everything. Like, let him enjoy things. He deserves it. He deserves to be happy. Um, but yeah, and then you can go into his office. You can see like a bunch of notes in his diary and stuff, and then you can get like these little clues to figure out uh, the code to his little secret compartment that has all the employee files on it. And so I love how all of the clues how to get in are attached or like they have to do with his raid game.
Yeah.
Like I love that. Like the man is
it's so Carl, you know?
so cool. But then you go and you can get in there and you have employee files for Anya, Lucas's dad, and Sunny June.
Because everywhere we've been, Sunny June has been.
Yeah, like almost everywhere Nancy goes, Sunny has worked there at some point. Or probably maybe after she leaves somewhere that he hasn't been, he works there eventually. Like Sunny is everywhere and I love him for that. But Carl actually was like, he's good at art. Maybe I can contact him for like game stuff. Like he
Yeah.
could do art for a game or something, which I'm like, honestly, that would be hilarious. I love that. I want that to come up in a future game, a game
Like,
that
oh
comes
yeah,
out
Sunny
that has,
June drew all my
Yeah.
raid cards.
yeah. I would love something like that to come up. But you can look at Anya's stuff and you can then eventually call a place that is called Castle Cast. And you realize that Anya has lied on her resume. Because on her resume, it says that she has all of like this high position managing roles and positions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But on Castle Cast, they're like, oh yeah, she was the best person in the mailroom. We all loved her. And they're like, she delivered mail. And they're like, oh yeah, she was great though. We loved her. And you're just like, hold up. She was not in a management position. They're like, absolutely not. No way. But we did like her. And so I'm like, oh, suspicious. Very suspicious. But then you can get a key from Carl's desk, which is the key to Anya's desk. You can go in and you find a letter from Marcus in there, and you're like, huh, this is a weird letter from Marcus. Weird. Why is it in here? Or it's not a letter, it's an email that's been printed out. This must be like a 2011 thing with the printing out of emails, because yeah. Anyway, but so there's that, and then you can get the little thing in there to wind up the clocks, and so you can wind up the third clock from the left to 1921, which is 7:21, and then you find one of the gears, which is actually what you use to get the key to get to Carl's office. My linear sense is not sensing, but
That's okay.
we're vibing. I've had a long day.
There's just like, this is the part of the game where it's just like there's a lot of puzzles that lead you kind of in circles. Like you have to sort of make rounds at this point.
Yeah, it's a very non-linear game at this point. Like the beginning is very linear, and so is the end. But towards this part, it's very like you're just doing whatever you can at that point.
Yeah,
and it's I like it. It's fun. It is very fun. But then you can go into the glass shop and you get the key from Carl, and he's like, yeah, go in there, be careful, don't die. And if you do not know to put the glass protective shield over the furnace, you will die. Which is one of the reasons I never finished the game with my friend back in the day, because we didn't know about the glass shield, and so we kept opening the furnace and then just dying.
Man, we keep getting burned to death.
So we never got into the security booth because we were like, it's an A, but you can only you have to actually see the A specifically
and then
in
survive.
The game to actually and survive, and we never survived. So poor us. But yeah. And you can go around and do all that. But yeah, there's just a lot of different puzzles, and we get like a lot of really good dialogue from like Renata, and you hear the story that she tells us about the monster. And she says this story where it was like one little girl ran into the forest and another one followed her to, help her and everything. So two little girls ran into the forest, but only one came out because of the monster. And if you can tell she's very like it's very serious to her. Like it's very personal of a story.
Yeah.
And the monster definitely has something very personal to do with her. Which is very like, oh wow, this is serious to her. But like literally everything Renata says is good. Like the one like I also like the one of where she was talking about how Carl does nothing really about the castle. And in fairy tales, there's always a knight in shining armor. You don't want a knight in shining armor. You want a knight in dented, scraped armor because you know that he has actually been doing things
Right.
and getting stuff done. And like it's like, you know what, play Renata. I love her. But yeah, so then we do that, and there's a lot of stuff going around. But eventually, we get to a point where Lucas plays a prank on Nancy, and her clothes are all wet, and so she goes around. She's like, "I do not have my luggage with me because it got lost in the airline place, airport. That's
The
what it's
airline
called.
place.
The airport. Listen, I don't know words.
It's okay.
Okay,
It's okay.
but so Nancy goes on to look for like whatever she needs to dry off her clothes, and would you look at that? There's a dress, a little traditional Bavarian dirndl on her bed. And so she puts it on, and it says, for Nancy to put on and stuff. So she puts it on, and first of all, I want to ask you, what is your opinion on the dress?
Ugly.
You think it's ugly?
It's the
No.
colors. I hate them.
I love the dress. Like, I think dirndls are so pretty and so cute,
Yeah,
and I also
the
like the
style
color
is
green.
fine.
So
The style is fine, but the colors and patterns, I feel like, look so weird together.
ooh, see, I like it. I am a Nancy green dress aficionado. Like, I am a fan. I should do a
Okay.
poll about this. Like, is the green dress nice or is the green dress ugly? Because some people call it the ugly green dress, and then like I'm like, no, not ugly. How dare
Yeah.
you? You are hurting the dress's feelings.
Poor
But I
dress.
personally think it's cute.
Sorry.
But yeah. But anyway, Nancy is like, "Oh, this is a nice dress," and then she goes down. She's like, "Hey, Anya, did you put this out for me?" And she's like, "No, why would I do that?" She's like, "Huh, that's weird." Then she goes talk to Renata, and Renata's like, "Why are you wearing that dress? Take it off." And she's like, I, right, I can't, really?" And she's like, "Yeah, go take it off." And she's like, okay, why?" And she's like, "Just do it." And so Nancy goes to take off the dress in her bedroom, but gasp, her clothes have been shredded. Like, have you seen Barbie Princess Charm School?
I don't think I've seen that one actually.
Okay, well, this is a lot like a scene from Barbie Princess Charm School. Anybody out there who knows Barbie Princess Charm School, you know what I'm talking about. Because this okay, I'm not going to talk Barbie right now, but anyway, if you know, you know. Um uh but anyway, so her clothes are all ripped up, and she's like, "Well, guess I'm stuck in this." And so she tells Renata that, and Renata's like, "That is not a good thing. That is not a good thing, Nancy. That is not good. That is very bad." And Nancy's like, "Oh, this is really cryptic and scary." Um, yeah. Nancy's like, "I'm not sure. I feel safe right now, but that's not gonna stop me because I'm Nancy Drew, and I have no sense of actual fear." Um,
Self-preservation? What's that?
she has no concept of self-preservation. I swear to God, she Nancy is a force of nature. Like, yeah. But anyway, so she gets that, and that's fun. But you can also like go into the forest to find the burr, and that was stuck to the door when the monster came and attacked. And if you have sharpened the clippers that you got on your very first time here, just grabbing the sharp tools. But if you get those and you sharpen them, the glass shop glass. What is that? Is it shop?
Like the
No,
glass shop?
workshop, glass shop, something. I don't know.
The glass
Place where you
workshop?
do things. Yes, the things you do. Place glass. Yes.
With the furnace.
The furnace place. Yes. But if you get that, you also have to grab a bunch of other things from there. But you can clip the birds aside, and you see there's a little like campsite kind of thing. There's like a flashlight, a little tent, and you're like, somebody's been here. I'm gonna steal their flashlight. Because you are Nancy Drew, so laws do not apply to you, especially laws about thievery. So you can do that, and then if you have discovered one of the pages by then, you can be like, this is the rock that was from that one page about the legend of the monster. And so you can dig there because apparently there was something that the girl who was taken buried, she buried there. And so you can dig and you can find the necklace.
Which is
And
really
the
pretty.
necklace, her interactive. If you are listening, please make merch of this necklace.
Yeah, I mean,
It is.
you could sell it as like a cute little like locket thing.
Yeah. Or like just like a pretty necklace or even like earrings or something. Like or like a charm bracelet. Okay? Like listen.
Phone charm.
You could even sell these to people who don't know anything about Nancy Drew because this is a really pretty necklace, okay? Like
Yeah.
pretty. It is objectively a pretty, like fantasy looking necklace, okay? TikTok girlies would love it. I'll tell you that.
I could wear it with my pirate outfit.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, pirate outfit with that necklace. It just looks so good. Okay. We're getting sidetracked because of the cool necklace. There's so many cool merch ideas from this game, Her Interactive. Please. Yes. Anyway, so we can get that and we can put on the necklace. And if we talk we can ask Anya about it because there are models of it, like plastic things of it, like little cheap ones in the store because it was part of the monster legend. And Anya's like, this is super old. It's not like the ones we have in the store. That might be like an original. I don't know. But then you talk to Renata and she's like, what are you wearing? And Nancy's like, I'm wearing the dress and the necklace. I can't change into anything else, and I've just found the necklace. Why not wear it? And she's like, don't, what? What are you doing? No, that is not safe. And as usual, Nancy never listens to anybody, so she doesn't do anything.
Safety? Haha.
It's like Puss in Boots. Danger! I laugh in the face of danger. I am your favorite fearless hero. Like, Nancy has a lot in common with Puss in Boots, especially
Except Nancy doesn't have any sword skills that I'm aware of.
She probably does.
You think so?
Or like she'll read a book and suddenly become a master in defense with fencing or something like that. Like it's gonna be like Danger by Design all over again, which we're not going to get into yet because we're getting ahead of ourselves. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah. So then you can go through and do more puzzles and do more research and stuff, and eventually you get an alert on your phone. The monster is outside the castle. And so you can go out there and you go to the security room. You see it in the security footage, and then you go out to the courtyard and you try to follow the monster out to the forest, but the gate slams down and you are locked in between the two gates, and the monster is like and
That part scared me so bad when I was a kid.
I know it did because it's
When
like,
the
oh my
monster
god,
like
come on!
comes back up to the grate and he's like, "Murr!" and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, but then you're locked in there and you have to play really fun, like moving blocks around puzzle. I love those ones. Those are so much fun. I love them. You just go like,
I like puzzles like that too. Yeah, like the spatial puzzles.
yeah. Listen, there are a lot of good puzzles in this game. Okay, I like the puzzles in this game. except for I'm trying to think of a because there's a puzzle I didn't like. Trying to think. Was there a puzzle I didn't like? I'll
I
probably get there
there are
eventually.
there are two puzzles that I don't like very much in this game, but we haven't gotten to either of them yet.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Oh, yes, I just remembered the one I don't like. Never mind. There is a puzzle I really, really, really hate. Anyway. So we try to follow it out, but then we find a piece of fabric and we show it to Carl and we're like, here, we saw this, and Carl's like, suspicious. Um, but then, oh, where do we find? Oh yeah, it's in the but sometime during the game we get this little hectagon, or what is it called? Like a
The
hectagon or
hex?
something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, the
That,
hex
that
piece.
yeah. Oh, now you're giving me like arcane flashbacks.
Sorry.
But that thing, yes.
Hex tech.
Next we you know,
Sorry, we're tangenting.
yeah, yes. But so
Anybody out there seen Arcane? Anyway.
Eddie, please watch Arcane. Yeah. Seek therapy after. But you can put
So when you have the hex piece, that's used when you like
and
go
you can
down
put
into the well.
Yeah, and I don't know, like there's something in one of the monster pages that you can find scattered about the castles. It has like parts of like the legend, and one of the girls like fell down a well or disappeared in a well or hid something in a well or something like that. But you can put the little flashlight that you got and put it down the well, and you're like, what is that? Is it a puzzle? Let's solve the puzzle. And so you solve it with the little hex piece, and then you go in, and it is really, 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 really creepy secret passageways tunnels. And I love how freaky they are. Like, as a kid, they were super scary to me, but as an adult, I love them. Like,
they're
super
also
dark,
very easy
creepy.
to get lost in.
Oh yeah, super easy. But eventually you can find a little map in the tunnels, and it's very useful. Very useful of a map. But there's also this suspicious looking barrel, and you can open it up, and what is in there? Fabric. That was the same fabric as the fabric that we got that the monster left behind. So the monster has been in those tunnels.
That's kind of sus,
Are
though.
Are you feeling unsafe? Well, you should be.
The monster's
so
down here with you.
There. The monster is down here with us.
Probably breathing down your neck.
Yes, absolutely.
Run away.
Yes, it's
your
so
girdle.
much fun. Yes.
Sorry.
I love the spookies. I love them. I love the spookies. So there's that, and yeah, I can do that, go around, and you can tell Carl about it, and then and then you can talk to Lucas, and he's like, I'm gonna pull off my biggest prank yet. And you're like, please don't ruin any more of my clothes. Please don't. I don't want to get any more water spilled on me. Please and thank you. But then you can talk to him and stuff. And then you can talk to Anya. You can talk to Anya and be like, oh yeah, I know that you lied on your resume. And she's like, please do not tell anyone. And Nancy's like, don't worry, I won't.
And then I think it's about this time that we get another security alert that says the monster is in the castle now.
Yes, and that really freaked me out as a kid.
It's very scary.
Because you're like, what, the monster is in here now? Like, the castle? The castle? Where we're supposed to be safe because nobody can get in here? But you also know about secret passageways.
Yeah. Which
so
that freaked me out the first time I went through the well passages and I saw that there was an entrance into Nancy's room. And I'm like, you're telling me anybody could just climb up in here into my room?
And there's the Nancy's room, and there's also something in the forest. As a kid, after I got this game on my own and played it by myself, and actually got farther than just dying in the furnace. But, in the forest, there's a little campsite, but then there's also the door that's in the tree in the forest that leads into the tunnels. And it's like, that person in the forest could get anywhere in the castle.
Literally
anywhere. That is scary. That is scary. And so I was just, really freaked out about that when I was a kid.
But anyway, so the monster's in the castle.
So we find in the security cameras that it was in the glass shop, and so we go in there and it's not in there, but you see really, really weird footprints that don't look like footprints. And then you follow the sand out and you see the monster, and it's really freaky until the monster falls over and the costume comes off, and it's Lucas. It's Lucas on stilts. And you're like, Lucas, really? This is what you. Really? Are you the monster? And he's like, no, I just wanted to be a monster like this time, you know? I'm having a lot of fun. This is my prank and stuff. And then
did this part as a kid, like the first time you played this game and got to this part, do you think, like, was this, in my perception, I was like, this is endgame. Like, here it is. I found the culprit.
Yeah. Yeah, at first I was like, this is a really lackluster culprit. But then...
and I was like, this is a really lame ending.
But then the real monster is in the window. And it sees you. And it is watching you. And I will say that part freaked me out so much as a kid. Because, and like, Lucas is like, see, it's not me. It's not me. I told you it wasn't. And it's looking at us. Oh no. And it's, you know, really, really scary, especially for this kid, this little kid. But so, yes. And then you can tell Carl, hey, we found, so Lucas was dressing up as the monster, and he's like, oh, so Lucas was the monster. Okay, we're gonna send him away to some school somewhere. Just get that kid out of here. He's so annoying. He keeps pranking everybody. It's annoying. And she's like, no. The monster is real. The monster is real. We saw the monster. We saw it, both of us. And he's like, are you, no, you just said it was Lucas. It's Lucas. Go home. We're done. And so you're like, okay, no, I need to talk to Marcus. And so we can talk to Marcus, and he's like, take pictures of it to show him. Like, find evidence of the monster or something. And so we can, you know, take that map that Renata had, and we can find a place where there are monster sightings in the forest, and we can see the monster in the forest. And we can hide there and take pictures of the monster. And I kept thinking that the monster was going to, like, walk away and just walk away, and we're like, where's the monster? And then it would like sneak up on us and kill us or something. Like, as a kid, that was what I thought.
Like, so you know how like
so scared.
You know how like when you're behind the tree and it's like walking, and then it like turns, and it's like facing away from you.
Yeah.
And then it walks away. I was so scared the first time I played that he was gonna like make a 180 and be like facing me and see me in the tree. So I was like taking a bunch of pictures really, really fast so that I could like hurry up and leave.
Okay, we gotta go now. Let's run. But then you show Carl the picture, and he's like, oh. Ooh, I don't like this.
I think he says, this is bad. This is really bad. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay, sorry you didn't like my picture. No, I'm just kidding.
He also, there's something that Carl says at around this time. He said, this has been bothering me. Why are you here? And Nancy asks, what do you mean? And he says, Marcus explained why you were coming here, but it doesn't make sense why he'd send you to solve this problem. Like, you're just a kid. It's not right that he should send you. And she says, I'm not a kid. I'm good at getting to the bottom of tough mysteries. And he says, I've heard, but something about this seems wrong. Marcus or whoever recommended you be sent here may not have the best intentions. And which kind of feels like foreshadowing for another game. Mm-hmm. But I do want to know who got Marcus. Was it the culprit? Because it's never really explained how, but probably some influence of the culprit.
Yeah, I think that's the implication, but I don't know if that's ever outright answered.
Yeah. But you can also talk to Renata about some stuff. And she, some of the best things that she says is, she says, I do not, she says, so Nancy asks her, what's the real story with the monster? And she says, I don't know enough to say for sure, but what I do know is it is tragic. There are two choices. One, the monster is real. He's a living mystery, some terrible abomination living in the woods, something that doesn't belong in this rational world. It could just as easily be something else, something worse. And Nancy's like what? And she says, the worst monsters are self-made. People like you and like me, but they have taken a terrible turn. They let everything awful, everything sad take up all breathing room in their hearts until all they know is revenge. And Nancy asks, like, what about the pattern? Why always the same girls? And she's like, that I don't know, but every generation has its troubles, Nancy. When the troubles can't be contained, the monster comes out. One thing I do know is that monsters, human or otherwise, can't stand hope. They can't stand being near a good heart. Then they try to destroy everything honest and good. They can't bear to remember how they once were. And basically everything Renata says about the monster just is so good. Like, you
Yeah,
know what I
a
mean?
lot of her dialogue is like really like poignant and almost poetic.
It is, and it also shows like how dark the monster story was, because she was like, either it is an extremely dangerous abomination to our world, or it is something worse, and it is a real person.
Yeah.
And as Frank said in one of the calls, like the monster could have been used as a scapegoat, and that's what she's implying, that they're evil, evil people, and that they just used the monster as a cover of what they did. And it's just the history of this castle is extremely dark. And like as a kid you don't really get a hang of like how dark this
Yeah.
story is, but as an adult you really do.
Or like yeah, like
And
the weight of the consequence of
mhm,
like the heartache that's come through this like just this locale and the people involved. It's that is definitely something that kind of goes over your head as a kid and
mhm.
is easier
Especially
to
with
kind of see like the depth and weight of as an adult.
yeah, and especially with like the dark themes of like these girls who have gone missing, and they blame it on the monster when in reality it's like 90% most likely just an evil person kidnapping or like murdering these girls or something. Like it's a very dark thing, and Renata has, she has a very personal story to it, and so it's just this is an extremely dark story when you actually look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's that's one of the reasons I do like this game, is because it does get deeper as you grow older with the game, and
That's
it
fair.
gets a lot more dark. Yeah, and I like how deep into the history of the castle it goes. But
So with this conversation
so
with Renata, this is where that conversation with Renata to me is what I consider the beginning of Endgame. Is that kind of
mhm,
what how you see it, or is there a different point that you consider the beginning of Endgame?
basically that, yeah.
Yeah.
And around the end of the game, you can go and find this. So Renata, in her little story about the monster at the beginning that you ask her about, she says that the reason the little girl ran into the forest was because she had this little red and yellow scarf that she had that was from India with the little elephants. And so the little girl chased it because it was caught up in the wind into the forest, and her sister went to find her, and only one of the girls came out. And you can go into the tunnels, the passageways, and you can find that scarf.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is the scarf from Renata's story, and you can bring it back to her. And she says, "You have no idea what this means to me, Nancy. Thank you." And so Nancy's like, "That story, the girl who went into the woods, that was you, wasn't it? And and you're and you couldn't save your sister and this story." And she's like, that was half true, because I was the little girl who ran in. My sister came in to save me, but she couldn't escape. She couldn't get out. And it makes so much sense as why she is there at the castle when the monster is there, and why she's telling Nancy, do not wear that dress, do not wear that necklace, be very careful, because she just wants Nancy to become the next victim.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows that whoever is orchestrating all of this, whatever's going on, Nancy is the ideal victim for the monster. And it's so, when you get this dialogue, which you don't have to get this dialogue to
Yeah.
finish the game.
This is not like
Yeah.
it's not like a main story dialogue. It's
Yeah.
you have to find the item to even trigger the
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah, but it's so, yeah, it's that part just makes Renault's story all the more sad, and all the more just, it makes it just a much better story, because you now know this is not just a thing for her that she's interested in. This is very personal to her. So I love that little part of the story. But then you can see a bunch of other things, like you find some more little notes around. You see Anya wandering off to the woods. You talk to Marcus, he says a lot more stuff. But then you find these notes, and you find two more notes, and you decode them, and one of them says the friar's daughter is the key, or something like that. And so you can find a clue in that. I forgot what the clue was, but the other clue says, for the legend, find a girl to cast as the victim, or the victim has been cast, or something like that. And so you're like, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Wow, that is freaky. And then you go to Carl, and Carl calls Nancy, and he's like, Nancy, get over here to my office right now. And Lucas has been kidnapped. And Nancy's like, wait, Lucas, are you sure it isn't a prank? And he's like, no, this is not his style. He would have wanted to see people's reaction. He would not just be missing, okay?
Right.
Lucas has been kidnapped. This is important. She's like, I thought you didn't like Lucas. And he's like, it doesn't matter whether I like him or not. He's family. Everybody in this castle is family. I need to protect him. And just like, that really got to me. And so you can try to find Lucas, and you can find like sand there, and that sand is from the glass shop. So you can go down to the glass shop, and you can go use that passage into the dungeons, and you find Lucas in the dungeon. And he is just this poor little kid locked in the dungeon, so scared. And he's like, Nancy, please get me out. The monster took me down here. I'm so scared. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. And the only thing I don't like about this part, because this part of the story is really good, is the freaking puzzle.
I hate this puzzle. I hate this puzzle. This puzzle can kick rocks.
I have some opinions on this puzzle, and none of them are good. Because it's so slow, but it's also like way too fast. Like, and then like Nancy's like, the bar is moving so slow, and Nancy's like, I better hurry. Nancy, how? I literally am waiting for it to go past the little
Nancy,
knob
I cannot do this any faster, so please shut your dang mouth.
I'm just like, Nancy, shut up. But anyway, eventually, with a lot of rage and nearly rage quitting the game, you finish that puzzle, and you get Lucas out, and he runs out first, and as soon as he gets out, the door's locked behind him. He's like, Nancy, what's going on? And she's like, Lucas, go get help, okay? Don't stop. Just go get help, okay? And then he's like, okay, I'll go. And then as soon as you turn around, the monster knocks you out.
Yay.
And now you are underneath the trap door that you had discovered earlier that day, and you're like, that is not good. And you find this little puzzle, and you have to press these buttons that are symbols in the monster story in the order of the pages you found. And then after that, it leads you to this puzzle where you have to rearrange all these letters in
another
a certain
puzzle
way.
that can kick rocks, especially on senior. Oh my gosh. I thought my brain was going to melt out of my ear holes.
Actually, I solved it in like 1 minute.
Did you play on senior?
No, but this is the only game that I've completed on senior, and
the senior puzzle, I was like, what in the heck is going on here? But I did figure it out. I mean, trust. Yeah. I got it. But like, the whole time I was like, why, how, this game is not for children.
Yeah. But that one is like, I do love that puzzle. Like, it's fun when you actually know what to do with it. It's fun when you know what to do with it. Like, it's when you know how it works, which is like the letters slide around and stuff. But so you get that done, and then you are brought back up to meet the monster, and you can accuse the monster, and if you accuse wrong, the monster kills you, which I don't know why, because if the monster thinks you're somebody else, like, they'd be like, yes, please accuse somebody else and get them to be
why
punished
do you get
for my
punished
crimes.
for not thinking that it was that person?
Yeah. But anyway, so the monster is da 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 da, It is Anya, my least favorite character, which is great because I would be devastated if it turned out to be anybody else, and it wouldn't make sense to be anybody else because, okay, Renata is, she's an elder woman.
And it's
It's obviously
obviously
not
not
Lucas.
Lucas.
And Carl? You expect me to believe that Carl, Mr. playing with his action figures all day, and Mr. is scared of everything, is the monster? No. But, it's Anya, and she's talking about how her whole thing was because she wanted to ruin Marcus because while they were dating, which they dated, which is something that was, like, important, but not super important. But yeah, super important, but, like...
It's, like, kind of glossed over.
Yeah, it's, like, important but glossed over. But, when she was dating him, she was the one who gave him, like, a lot of business advice on, like, what to buy, what to do with certain things. And the reason he became so successful with real estate and stuff was partly because of her. And so and then after he kind of used her for that, he broke up with her and then got with another lady, and she was, like, really upset with him because she's like, no, I made you, okay? I did all of this. All of your success, that was me. And so what she did is she wanted to frame him for staging accidents and monster stuff so that the castle would, people wouldn't go to the castle. They would have to shut it down and everything. So his success would be kaput. Which... okay, partly I can be like, okay, that's a stupid motive as revenge for a guy, but at the same time, when he kind of used you and used all of your ideas and got success off of your intelligence and stuff, and then dumps you, like, that is a crummy thing to do.
Yeah, like, I kind of think that, like, Anya's reasons for being upset are kind of justified. Do I
Very
think her
justified.
actions are justified? No.
Kidnapping your nephew is going a little bit too far.
Yeah, it's
by
too
the way,
much.
Anya is sisters with Lucas's she's a sibling. She was Lucas's dad's sister.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's his aunt, and she kidnapped her freaking nephew. Bro, a little extreme, don't you think?
That's a little much, honey. That's a little much.
That is a 10-year-old child who trusts you as his family. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you, Anya? Answer me that, Anya. But anyway, so then she's like, don't you understand, Nancy? You're the girl with the dress, and I am the monster. And then...
While she's blabbing...
Well, she is blabbing. She's monologuing. It's the whole scene from The Incredibles. You got him monologuing. I got him monologuing. That's what Nancy does every time. But as she's monologuing, Nancy puts the necklace in the little key thing that opens up the trap door, and she twists it, and Anya falls down inside. And she's like, "Oh no, Nancy, don't tell anybody." She's like, "Oh no, you're the monster, and I'm the girl in the dress." And then Anya's like, "Well, auf Wiedersehen, Nancy. You know what that means. We will meet again." And yay! We've solved the mystery!
Yay, we've solved the mystery.
Yay! Yes. And then, so Carl moves on from his bad luck past, which I forgot to mention, because he does have this really interesting story that's brought up. It's not important to the plot, but it's still very interesting. But the reason he has had such bad luck in his life is he believes that reason is because when he was a child, he was on a train trip with his dad, and his dad went off to do something, and so he found another little boy to play with on the train, and that little boy happened to look exactly like him. And he didn't really notice that at the time because, kid just wants to play with people, and he's like, yeah, let's play games. This is a cool game. I'm playing the game. And then his dad comes in, and he finds him playing with the little boy, and he immediately is like, get away from him. Get away from him. Do not go near that child. Okay, go away. Get away from him. And he's like, why, Dad? Why are you freaking out about this? And it's because his dad thought it was his doppelganger, which is extremely bad luck to run into in some superstitions and stuff. And so that is why he believes that he has been struck with bad luck, which I think is a really cool, creepy story. I love that.
I think it's a good inclusion of kind of like the German culture too.
Yeah. It's very interesting, and it adds in a lot of like, spooky levels. I love monster stories. They're so much fun.
Yes.
But So he moves on from my life is just bad luck, and he decides to go off and meet his girlfriend that he's been writing letters to and try to be a full-time game maker, which I honestly hope he succeeds at because Raid is a banger of a game.
Yeah.
Renata goes off to tell more stories other places, and she's found some closure that she's helped the girl in the dress not become a victim of the monster, which is something that's kind of like a full circle moment for her because she couldn't save her sister who tried to save her, but now she has saved one of the girls, which is very, very good touch to the story. Then Lucas and his dad are no longer at Castle Finster, but they've moved somewhere else. And Lucas is like, in the letter to Nancy, he's like, "Hey, did you know that there are legends here about flying pigs? I have a new prank idea. Oops, my dad just found the pig I was hiding. I'll write you later. Bye." Just like, I love Lucas so much. Like,
Lucas
that
is definitely the
kid
most fun character in this
is
whole game, I think.
I love Lucas so much. Like, that kid can do no wrong, and like, especially like his whole personality is so cute. And there's this one time where after he and Nancy witness the monster, where he's like, "Nancy, I'm really scared. I don't know what to do." And she's like, "Just be okay. Just you'll be okay, Lucas. I trust in you." He's like, I don't know. I'm scared, Nancy. Just make sure that you solve the mystery or something." And I'm just like, this child. Oh, I just want to protect Lucas, okay? I don't want him to ever be sad ever again. He does not deserve to be sad ever.
Yeah, protect Lucas.
But yeah, and then there's
especially
this
from his aunt.
yes, especially from his freaking aunt. Oh my god. What is on her rap sheet? Like, she has attempted murder, sabotage, fraud, kidnapping, probably more stuff, cuz that, like, girl is like gaslight gatekeep girl bossing her way into revenge and prison. Cuz whoo boy. Yeah,
So
this girl has got issues, but that is the end of the story. But before the story completely ends, it says that Ned mentioned something about becoming more adventurous and solving more mysteries, like on his own, and so that leads into the next game in the series, which is Alibi and Ashes.
I do like that tie-in.
Mm-hmm.
And I also
That was a
wanted to
good
talk.
tie-in.
I also wanted to talk about, because it didn't come up like kind of naturally in the discussion
Mm-hmm.
of like the mystery,
Yes.
but
Yes, it is.
the music of this
The
game
music.
is probably one of the most distinct soundtracks that Kevin
It
Manthe
is
made.
so good.
It's
I'm
so
gonna say
good.
it. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it again. Kevin Manthe, more like Kevin Manslay, because he slayed this soundtrack.
Yes. However, one thing that I have to say, and again, I prepare myself for critiques, is that because this soundtrack is so stylized, I cannot listen to it all the time. I have to be in the mood for it. And I think it's just because it is so stylized. It's so characteristic of like the Bavarian, like very German sort of traditional sound that like if you're not in the mood for something like that, it could almost sound, I don't know, almost circusy or campy.
Yeah. It's the polka influences, yeah.
So it's definitely not one of my favorite soundtracks. However, I think while playing the game, it's the perfect soundtrack. It's just it's hard for me to get a lot of enjoyment out of the soundtrack outside of playing the game.
Yeah, I think because the soundtrack, I personally like. This is one of my favorites. I actually have a lot of favorites. Do not ask me to list my favorites, please. I will go into a mental breakdown trying to figure out which one of the games has the best score. But with this one, I think my favorite track in the score is the track "Girls."
Oh, I was gonna say that's probably my favorite too.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Just amazing.
Just the instrumentation alone is just
yeah,
nicely crafted.
yeah. And I also like the story that plays in the forest, where it's like Kind of
Oh,
like
that
that.
one's scary.
It's so scary. It's spooky. I love it. It is so fun.
Mm-hmm.
But the music all around, like, even if you can't listen to it like regularly, like it fits the game
Oh,
perfectly. It's
absolutely.
spectacular for the setting and the story and everything. And it really gets across that like you are in a castle with a dark history with a dark subject. And it is so good.
And on
Like,
that note, I think that's kind of a nice segue into kind of talking about like the atmosphere and setting of this game.
oh, I have
So,
nothing but positive things to say about the atmosphere and setting.
my only critique about the atmosphere and the setting is that it is very difficult to see some of the like rooms, or especially like the outside courtyard or the forest.
Yeah,
Everything is very,
yeah.
very dark. So I wish that it had been lightened up just a smidge, just to make general navigation easier. Like in the
Yeah.
well, you have a flashlight, which seriously helps. And so it's like I
Oh
almost
yeah.
wish that you could use that flashlight in the courtyard and woods as well. But you
I
can't.
will
It's just
say,
dark.
yeah, I will say though, I like having a super dark forest because it makes it very like, oh, am I lost in the woods? Am I lost? Oh my gosh, this is scarier now because what if the monster is here and I can't
Yeah.
escape? Like I liked that because it did add like for me it added to the story and everything, which was really cool. But like the castle itself is just so beautiful. Like the wooden walls and the floors and everything is just so beautiful.
Yeah, and it
And
definitely
the
feels like we are in Germany. So I think,
mhm.
just the immersion of the location, I think is really well done.
It's so pretty. Ah, I would like to live in this castle. Like aside from, the ruling dark monstrous history of it, the castle is pretty sweet. Like, not gonna lie, this is a cool castle. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's so cool, so cool. Ah, and then I must talk about the passageways again. The passageways are so creepy. They're so creepy, and I love it. It is so horrifying. Like you're in there, you're just like literally somebody could be in here, and I would not know. And there's so many ways to get into the passageways and get out of them, and you don't know what's going on. It's so creepy and spooky, and I love it. So
Um,
yes, those are my thoughts on the setting. It is spooky and pretty, and I love it.
is there anything else we're missing?
Um,
I guess we
we
can
could
we can
talk.
rate it,
Yeah,
but we can save that till the end if there's anything else that you want to talk
yeah.
about.
I do want to say this game has some banger puzzles. Like we've already touched on them a few times, but like
What
one
would
of
your
my favorite
favorite puzzle be?
games. Well, Zap Up.
Oh, yeah,
Are
of
you
course.
kidding me?
I forgot.
Zap Up is the best.
Mine
But
is
I also
probably
I like the box one where you have to arrange the glass tiles
okay. I
because
like
it's
that one too.
pretty.
I like the color one in Renata's bag where you have to like guess the color
Oh,
combination.
oh yeah, that one's also really fun. See, there's
So,
really only like a few puzzles that aren't fun, and it's like the ones at the end.
mm-hmm.
But like the other ones, like the one where you have to twist the hexagons to get the puzzle to
That
get
one's fun.
everything to match up, that one's really fun. I like that one. But like, yeah, it's hard to find a puzzle or mini game in this game that isn't fun because like we have like raid, we have monster. It's very enjoyable mini games and puzzles
Mm-hmm.
until the door. um
The door.
I hate that one so much because like you can't make it go faster, and if you do make it go faster you're probably gonna mess up, and so you're just watching in torment trying to not mess up as it goes so slow,
The
but Nancy's
worst
like, hurry
torment.
up.
The worst torment isn't even the pacing. It's just Nancy being like, "Oh, I gotta go faster. How about you
No,
shut up?"
Nancy, I literally cannot go any faster. I'm struggling, Nancy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so pretty fun game. Great atmosphere. Very different scores, I'm guessing, for you and I. But let's go for our overall rank. Do you want to go first?
Okay, I think I'm gonna put Captive Curse at like a 4 or 4.5.
Ooh.
I know
Yeah,
that's
I
kind of low.
get
I'm
it.
sorry. Please
Anya,
don't hate me.
Anya's annoying. It's okay.
Yeah. And it's just, I feel like
I'm
the pacing of this game is also a little awkward sometimes. And
yeah.
just all the excessive dialogue that has nothing to do with the plot annoys me.
Yeah, it could have been done a little bit better that way. But I'm gonna give it like see, I will rate like nearly all of the games really high. Because I love these games so much. I enjoy them so much. This one, I'm like 7.5 to an 8 for me.
Okay.
Because like I rate these games really high. Like I really like them. They're really fun. Just wait until we get to Ransom of the Seven Ships and Midnight in Salem. Like those two. And the Shattered Medallion, that one. And
Copper
Haunted
Cave.
Castle. Those four are going to make me go on rants. So
Okay, that's fair.
look forward to those ones, guys. But this one is one of the ones that I actually really do like, and most of them I really, really like. And so yeah. Is this among the top 10 in my games? I don't know, because they keep switching up and I keep saying this is my favorite. No, this is my favorite. This is my fifth. No, this is my fifth. But this one I think is like a solid at least 11 on my scale of the games. Like it's a fun one. It's, you know. I understand if like it's not your style cuz Anya is annoying and it's not the best culprit review and the door puzzle,
The door.
the relationship drama. But all in all, I can overlook that for the banger puzzles and the great characters and the fun music.
Fair enough.
But I cannot forgive that door puzzle. Like, dear God. Like maybe this game would get a higher score if it were not for that freaking puzzle. Like
That's fair. That's fair.
overall, solid game. Solid game. Kevin Manthe did the world a service with the score, as he
always
did
does.
with all of the scores with Nancy Drew. And yes, pop off her interactive with merch ideas. Please make Raid an actual game that I can buy. I will buy it and I will force my sister and her friends to play it with me. They will have no choice. I will be like, listen, you either walk out of this Christmas party or you play Raid. Okay? You either leave without any food or goodbyes,
Your
or you play
invitation
Raid with
is
us.
contingent on playing Raid with me right now.
Yes, and I will convert them into the Raid fandom. Okay, I will have people being fans of Raid, and they don't even know it's from Nancy Drew. They'll be like, "Wow, this is a really fun game.
You're
Where
right.
did you get it?" Yes, it is a very fun game. I got it off of the Her Interactive merch store, and they're like,
so play it
"What's
and enjoy
that?"
forever.
And they're like, "What's that? What's Her Interactive?" Ha ha! Funny you should ask. Have you ever heard of the Nancy Drew PC games? And then I would convert them into Clue Crew because
Yeah.
of Raid. So, Her Interactive. I have some ideas.
Listen to us, Her Interactive.
Yes, please. Oh my goodness. But I think we should probably end the episode like soon, because otherwise I will go on about Raid.
That's fine. Go ahead and close this out.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to us, and thank you to everybody who worked on this game and gave us Raid. I will not stop talking about Raid. Okay. Yes. Thank you for listening, and I hope you had fun. Hope you enjoyed, and yeah, join us in a few weeks for our next one, which is a spooky one because it is Halloween time.
Yay, our Halloween special will be after this.
Halloween. Yes, we started it pretty late in the year, and so it's already Halloween time. So, how should we close it off? Her Interactive, please release Raid as a real game.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
You
ready?
heard us, Her Interactive.
Oh. Okay, ready?
Her Interactive.
Please make Raid.
Yes, please
real
make Raid
game.
a real game. All right, bye guys.
Bye.